Oh, this is so Seattle. Seattle area coffee with a cop event canceled after the shop owner's Christian views. They're a Christian. Believe in the Bible. Attracts LGBTQ backlash. City says, oh, we can't have that. Those Christians there. Oh. Let's get into it. Here we go. Pilgrim Coffee House owner says the city sent the opposite message about inclusivity by canceling the event. Oh, there's Christians involved? Cancel. You know what the best thing conservatives can do? Best thing Republicans can do is just get out of the way. Keep handing the same microphone to like Jasmine Crockett. Here you go. Keep talking. AOC, here you go. Keep talking. Keep it up. 2 thumbs up. All right. Keep going. Keep doing this kind of nonsense because the rest of the country is like, oh, yeah, that's not really for us. We're going to vote for Orange Man Bad Guy. We don't have Trump derangement syndrome. We don't have a mental affliction. Therefore, we're going to vote for that guy over there, right? Seattle suburb canceled its upcoming Coffee with a Cop event after it faced protests because of the coffee shop's Christian beliefs. Do you remember not that long ago, good families said, okay, you got to go to church. You got to raise your children. They got to be baptized. I mean, I don't know if that's all true. That was my background, right? You go to church on Sundays. Maybe you got a little Bible study action on Wednesdays. And you did some church events and you hung out with people from your church because that was kind of part of your community. And everybody had a general, a general consensus of values, right? Let's not rape anybody. Murdering's out. Banging your buddy's wife is out. Stealing from people is out. Just moral depravity out. No porn. There's never any porn. All those things were religious beliefs that we've just thrown out the window. Oh, no, just marry anybody you want. It's okay. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But this kind of stuff, the actual lack of inclusivity, I'm okay with people believing stuff other than I do because that is actually tolerance, right? You want to believe in Muslim whatever? Okay, whatever. As long as it doesn't infringe on my beliefs or how I believe or how my religion is perceived. You know what I mean? Can't we all just get along? Quoting Rodney King. No, we can't. Clearly we can't because the far left has gone down such a crazy train road. This is where we are. Seattle radio host Jason Rantz reported that the city of Shoreline, that's the last city in Seattle before you hit Snohomish County. So it's on the county border in North End. Is it 15 miles north of downtown Seattle, something like that? Northeast 205th? It's 14 miles, something like that, I think. They canceled the community event, which aims to strengthen the relationship between police officers and residents. And what community doesn't need that, especially in the greater Seattle area, where you had just a bunch of ridiculous harebrained moves like defunding the police, allowing CHOP to happen. I mean, just a bunch of stuff that if you're a conservative and you live in the city of Seattle or, nearby, you're like, whew. Got a bunch of just mentally incapacitated people running around. They're the ones running the city. This is great. This is just, front row entertainment. Let's get out the popcorn. So it was meant to strengthen the relationship between officers and residents after the city's Facebook page was flooded with negative comments from libtards upset that Pilgrim Coffee House would host the event. Oh, good Lord, a church is hosting the event. Good Lord. No. We're all about worshiping Satan. So a regular church, it ain't going to do it. We're not going to have it because we're going to worship the dark Lord. And therefore, as a result, church is out. Who protests against a church? I mean, that's a one-way ticket to hell, isn't it? I mean, if you believe, like, I don't like the church. Pilgrim Coffee House is owned by Keith Carpenter, head pastor of Epic Life Church. I like the name of that church. Epic Life Church. All right. Yeah. What's your church all about? Epic Life. That's pretty simple. It doesn't say anything about Satan, and it doesn't say anything about, let's exclude everybody, does it? No, that's the liberals. The church states it believes marriage is between one man and one woman on its website. That used to be the consensus. All right. Times have changed, I'm told. I asked my mom about that the other day. I was like, Mom, we went to Presbyterian churches all the way through. And at one point in time, I'm pretty sure that we were a no-go on homosexuality. Were we not? And she goes, oh, yes, that's very true. And I'm like, okay. All right. Because my mom was the driver of church in the family, right? My dad, whatever. So at some point in time, the church has made this pivot and they're like, okay, yeah, gay marriage is fine. And I've always kind of, just tell me what are we believing here, right? What is it? Where do my beliefs need to sit? So, tell me what to do. So, Mom, now we believe that this is, it's totally acceptable. It's completely okay. And I asked her specifically, and she said, well, Presbyterian Church got really liberal. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So are we still Presbyterian? What's the dealio here? What should I be believing? As an adult, you just don't have those conversations with your parents because you have your own belief system and you think and talk about your own thing. And unless you're a podcaster, and then you share it with thousands of people online and they can all make fun of you if they want. It's just what we're doing, right? So, so many of these things, you're like, okay, I grew up and we had this belief system. I went to a Christian elementary school. I went to, all the way through high school, graduated from Bellevue Christian. And it wasn't like there was exclusion. But it also wasn't, hey, if you're gay, come to Bellevue Christian. That really wasn't a thing either. But they also weren't, hey, if you're Muslim, you can come join our school. Nah, it was, multi whatever it is, denomination, I guess is the word. Just whoever wants to go to school there and they aren't just absolute Satan worshipers, it's all good, right? Commenters vowed to hold a protest, and one event called for the coffee shop to leave the city, saying that Carpenter's views on marriage did not align with the progressive city's ideals. Now, we would much rather have bikini baristas where the girls just wear pasties, parade around, doing tricks for it's coffee prostitution, right? We're totally okay with that. This is literally like the fall of Rome, right? Yeah. Christians making coffee? Oh, hard no-go. Good Lord, those people. And I'm jesting if you're new to the show. I'm jesting because what happened? Okay, but you got girls over there with, boobies hanging out and you're barely covering everything else and they're making a ton of money and we're okay with that. But somebody with some morals that, love your daughter. Yeah. So here's some LGBTQ people, whatever. Love, say pride, say gay. All right. That's fine. If you want to do that, you want to celebrate pride for a full month, that's fine. But then there's also the pushback of, hey, every now and then I'll pick up the Bible and I'll look at it and go, that more aligns with my value system. So if I want to do that, if I want to go get a coffee, and I don't even drink coffee, so pick the Christian Homophobic Coffee House, an account called Sounder Sam posted under the city's venue announcement. Same person alerted the community that a pro-LGBTQ IA2S plus protest. The run-on here of letters. How many letters do we have in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 26 letters in the alphabet. I mean, we're damn near coming up on half. Other comments accused, at least a third, right? My fractions. Other comments accused the city of picking a bigoted and anti-LGBTQIA plus venue and demanded it be hosted elsewhere. Oh, you've got to take this stuff elsewhere. We can't have this going on in our city. These people, they believe in the Bible. These Bible thumpers, good Lord, they're all going to hell. It's like, what? In response to the backlash, Shoreline abruptly canceled the event. It was neither the department nor the city's intent to make any community member feel unwelcome based on the selection of the event venue and the values that the venue may or may not hold. There's the key thing. May or may not hold. Who cares? Who cares? They're trying to put on a deal where you've got people talking to cops that aren't going, take to the streets, F the police, no justice, no peace. That doesn't really work. You ask a cop how they feel about that. That's a hard no-go. That's a holdout chant to the Black Lives Matter, the domestic terrorist organization that chanted in the streets, right? When planning future events, we will be more intentional with our venue selection, Shoreline City Hall wrote in a March 12th statement posted to Facebook. In other words, no Christians. Christians? Good Lord. Those people? Oh, they are just not inclusive enough for us. Cancellation announcement was met with mostly positive comments. Thank you, Shoreline. My family feels a little bit safer in our neighborhood now thanks to this decision. Let me get this right, okay? You got somebody who believes in the Bible, all right? I mean, any way you look at it, okay? Bible, right? You got somebody who believes in the Bible, and I would say this about the same thing like the Torah. All right, you got a religious document that people, have relied upon for their moral orientation for thousands and thousands of years. All of a sudden, same people believe in the Bible. Oh, we're a hard no-go. We're a hard no-go. Because now we don't feel safe. What don't you feel safe about? What is it about their Christian beliefs that you don't feel safe about? Because they're not enforcing anything on you. They just think a little bit differently, kind of like you think a little bit differently than their Christian beliefs. So, another said, thank you for listening and doing the right thing. Is that the right thing, though? Is just kowtowing to a group that splinters off in a million different directions, that doesn't really have any cohesive standards other than just screaming at people and protesting about a bunch of stuff? Yeah. Carpenter also responded to the cancellation post by outlining all the ways his church helps the needy. Nobody cares in Seattle if you're a church and you're helping needy people. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It sucks, but Seattle is an incredibly ungodly city. Incredibly ungodly. We're losing churches left and right. Nobody gives a rat's ass. Don't talk about God. Don't talk about Jesus. Don't talk about anything. But hey, fly that pride flag, which, all right, that's fine. Let the other people talk as well. By outlining all the ways his church helps the needy in the community and pledging that everyone would be treated with respect and dignity at his coffee shop. Fair enough. Just don't talk politics. But in Seattle, unless you're flying the pride flag, it's almost like you are specifically disrespecting that whole culture. And that's not happening. He also spoke out against the cancellation in an interview with Rants. It's a form of discrimination for sure, Carpenter told the radio host, adding that he didn't want to play the victim card. Boy, liberals sure do, don't they? They really do. I've got this affliction, and I got this going on, and I can barely walk. They're 19 years old and they're in perfect health, but they got blue hair, which, always tips you off. You're like, okay, you got mental issues. You got blue hair. It's just one of those things, right? Carpenter said he could deal with online backlash, but there was also blatant lies being spread about his church and coffee shop. We serve anybody who walks in the door. I don't even know if they're LGBTQ. You got a card? Are you a card-carrying member of the LGBTQ plus SIA plus? We don't ask questions, so it's like a non-starter for us because nobody's asking questions at the door. Anybody who walks in that space, the coffee shop, will get the same exact beautiful, generously hospitable treatment and probably the best cup of coffee they'll have all month or all year, he told Rants. When you go to the South, you go to different states in the South and the Bible Belt, it's wildly different. It's wildly different. The Seattle freeze doesn't exist. People actually talk to one another. You can go to church. You can identify as a Christian and go, you know what? It's what we're doing. And people go, great. 2 thumbs up. See you at church, right? And nobody goes, good Lord. you are not progressive enough for our taste. Do you drive a Tesla? You don't have a Tesla? Oh, good heavens. He said it didn't make a lot of sense. The city would exclude his business from participating in the event, while at the same time touting its inclusive values. We're inclusive, but those Christians, you guys are out of there. Oof, your value system does not mesh with our value system. All right? Okay, is anybody shoving that down your throat? No, they're not. Well, then, don't worry about it. Basically says, we don't want Pilgrim Coffee House in our city and putting it out there publicly, Carpenter told Rants. Yeah, that's cancel culture. Christian? No go. It's completely opposite. The message they're trying to say about inclusivity. We're so inclusive about everybody, just not the people we don't like. Those Christians, they're not good people. It's the opposite of that, and it's hard. It's hard as a business, he added. Yeah, I mean, girls with the boobies hanging out, you betcha all day long. People with moral values, that's just not progressive enough. Not progressive enough. Spokesperson for the city of Shoreline told Fox News Digital, the city is committed to being a welcoming place for all people, no matter who they are or what they believe. Except for Christians. Yeah, apparently except for Christians. What other religions are we excluding? The work of local government is mostly focused on the basics. It's potholes, sidewalks, and public safety. Coffee with a Cop is supposed to be a place where law enforcement can talk with residents about law enforcement in Shoreline. Can they do that at a Christian venue? Nobody's preventing them from talking to a police officer there. So I'm failing to see the correlation here of why this event was canceled. Because you could still do that. When the March 26th event got caught up in issues other than public safety, it could no longer serve its purpose and was canceled. That's cancel culture for you right there. Those Christians, oh. Moving forward, we will only host these events at public facilities, the spokesperson added. Okay, all right. Yeah, so no more of that Christian stuff. We can't have that Christian stuff. That Christian stuff, those Christian people. I'm hammering on the Christian thing here because that's what this is. This is discrimination based on religious belief. Hard no-go. You want to believe what you want to believe? I mean, that's kind of what America is built on, right? I know you got a bunch of people, Muslims are all bad, ship them all back. You know, tolerance goes both ways. So this whole notion, but in the Pacific Northwest, anything to do with God, anything to do with church, anything to do with Jesus it's a hard no-go. It's a hard no-go. It's one of those deals where, you're a kid, you grow up, you go to church, you go to a Christian high school, and you pop out of that little bubble, and you grew up in a bubble. But then you poke your head around and you go, woof, times have changed. We're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, it's really quite shocking. Quite shocking. Things that people say, things that people do, that's because of progressive ideals that go absolutely nowhere, that don't work, that literally drag people down. They drag entire institutions down. But hey, let's keep focusing on these progressive ideals because look at California. Look at the situation they're in. They are thriving. Right? Oh, they're not? Yeah, Gavin Newsom's going to have a heck of a time getting elected to anything further? Huh. Yeah. Well, you got enough progressive voting for people. That's just what's going on. Democrat Jasmine Crockett laughingly mocks disabled Republican Governor Hot Wheels. This is one of the far left's most progressive elected officials, and she called a guy who had a tree fall on his back, snapped his spine, calls him Governor Hot Wheels. That is hard no-go. Making fun of people because they got hit by a tree? Absolutely shocking, right? Absolutely shocking. But she's saying all this stuff because she's getting her name out there. So just give her the microphone. Let her keep talking because the rest of the country is like, she said, we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. Okay, you called him Governor Hot Wheels. House Dems top spokesperson Jasmine Crockett applauded after attacking Texas Governor Abbott for using a wheelchair. Yeah, that's just, Meanwhile, Senator Markwayne Mullin, Republican from Oklahoma. Yep, there we go. All right. He responded, "For your information to the new spokeswoman for the Democratic Party, and let her keep speaking. This is genius. Just let her go. Greg Abbott became paralyzed after a huge oak tree fell on him, crushing his spine. But sure, go with Hot Wheels." There's inclusivity again, right? Oh yeah, we talked about Greg Abbott. Well, you made fun of him being in a wheelchair. You made fun of him being handicapped. So this whole idea of inclusivity from the far left is it's a complete joke. It's complete nonsense. DEI is complete nonsense. Everything that these people say is literally mentally afflicted. And you can see in the end result, you got one of your top officials literally making fun of somebody who's got a physical calamity that happened to him that rocked his life, that he's overcome to become governor of one of the biggest states in the United States. And you're going to make fun of him, calling him Hot Wheels. That's really commendable. Really commendable. All right, that's all I got on this one. We went off on a little divergent path there, but there wasn't a whole podcast in that, so that's what we're doing. All right. Thanks for being here. We'll catch up on the next one. Bye for now.